You can go ahead and record as well. I give you permission. I honestly, like, I'm interested in the whole moon stuff, but I didn't know that it was like Mondays were governed by the moon.
Yeah. So Monday is named, I don't, actually, I'll grab the Latin roots. I wrote them down. Yeah. So Mondays are from the Old English translation Monende, a translation of the Latin dies lunae, day of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesdays derived, so Mondays, yeah, the moon's energy is more nurturing and emotional, and it's normal for emotions to run high on Mondays. Tuesdays derived from Tuesday, like Tiws, the day of two equated with Mars. So Tuesdays are governed by Mars.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, and Mars has like warrior energy, like courage and leadership. Wednesdays derive from Woodnesdag or Mercredi from Dies Mercury. So it's Wednesdays are day of Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
And Mercury is like the analytical, clear thinking, communication planet. Thursdays are derived from Thor's Day, derived from the Germanic god of thunder, Thunraz, equivalent to Jupiter in most Romance languages. So Thursdays are governed by Jupiter, which is like philosophy and sharing ideas and dreams and science, spirituality, physics. And, Fridays are derived from Frigadag, I do not know how to pronounce that, or day of Frigay, and Latin Dies Veneris, or day of Venus. On Fridays, so the energy of Venus is love, romance, pleasure, appreciation, beauty, art, music, dance, sensuality. That's why Fridays are awesome. Saturdays derive from Saturni, Dies, Saturn's day. Saturn carries the energy of commitment, responsibility, and discipline. Also governs old age, lessons, wisdom, and teaching. And then Sundays derived from Sonnendag, and Latin Dies Solis, day of sun. And the sun's energy is vitality, life force, leadership, manifestation, strength, energy, willpower. So considering that humans are stardust and everything else in nature, it would make sense to give ourselves permission to adjust our schedules to be able to feel the energy of the planets that our days are named after. Like, it just seems like common sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's ancient.
Yeah.
So the work week, I feel like the work week starting on Monday is like some kind of control tactic to fuck with humanity.
Who decided that Monday was going to be a work week? And who decided that Monday was like the first day of the week? I mean,
I don't think it doesn't work for anyone.
No. And that's why, honestly, I know quite a few entrepreneurs that their work week starts on Sunday. That's when they go to work. That's when they do their thing, and they don't think of it as Monday, right? Because then nobody has the Monday blues. For me, honestly, I think another, like the whole feeling of like feeling off, like I'm well, mind you, my cycle is starting tomorrow. It's supposed to be tomorrow. And it's also going to be my birthday tomorrow. So, yeah, I know. And you know, with my birthdays, they have been extremely interesting. And almost every year has been eventful. Um, yeah. And then this morning, because my husband, he goes, "How does it feel being borderline old?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like, I don't consider 34 being old. And then my cat comes up to me, not this one, the other black and white one that you don't get to see very often, but she was my 30th birthday gift. So she comes up to me and she meows at me, meows at me. I'm like, "Oh, there you are, my 30th birthday gift, and there's my 33rd birthday gift, which is my dog." I'm like, "What am I getting this year?" We're not getting any more animals because my husband is not. We already have enough animals, like 2 cats and a dog, right? We actually found a new home for the snake that our daughter had. Um,
Oh shit! Wow.
yeah,
Beautiful.
um, I felt a little sad because he was still part of our family, um, but I feel like there's a lot less for me to do and a lot less cleaning to do because I was the one that was cleaning his cage. I was the one that was feeding him. I was the one caring for him. It was just basically one less thing to care about, right? And I don't know, I have a lot of people, actually, pretty much everyone that comes over to our house, every family member and friend pretty much will be happy to know that there's no longer a potential threat of a snake being pulled out and terrifying them to their core. Um, my daughter's, what was it? I think it was her 7th birthday, maybe her 8th birthday. So we had friends and family over at our house. And nobody really knew that one of my friends is petrified of snakes. And I didn't even know that she was that petrified of snakes. So my brother-in-law tells my daughter, thinking that it would be funny, "Take the snake out and go to my friend, her name is Renata, go to Renata and show her the snake and say like boo," right? So she sees the snake and right away she like squeals, screams like ah, runs into our bedroom, sits there in the corner and like this, like she's like petrified. And I'm like, "Oh my God, you guys are like," and my brother-in-law felt so bad because I mean, nobody knew. So of course, here's a glass of wine for you, communers.
I mean, some people have, like, I have a friend who, her phobia of snakes was so severe that you couldn't even say the word around her, and she like went to a hypnotist for it. So you never know, like, just how severe.
She was like that too, because when we were talking about it, she was tearing up. She was practically like crying. I'm like, "Oh my God, like I didn't know it was that bad." I'm like, "He's like the snake, his name was Groot, like Groot." I'm like, "He's the sweetest thing ever. If you ever want to get over your phobia, come and touch him." You know what I mean? Even the people that were getting him, they're like, "Oh wow, he's very like docile,
Yeah.
friendly." I'm like, "Yeah, he is. He really is." And so they were happy that they got him. So he went to a really good home. They also have snakes. So I'm like, to me, it makes it easier knowing that they go to a good home,
Yeah, of course.
right? And that they have experience and know what they're doing, and that didn't go to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, or somebody I don't even know, somebody who might make shoes out of him. You know what I mean? I mean that's
Yeah, I get that. It's so weird, like, looking back at when we had an iguana, we didn't think when we when we got the iguana, we didn't think about like what happens when it becomes huge. We were just like, it was tiny. We're like, this is cute, and like it feels so nice. And then it just kept growing and growing, and we had to get bigger and bigger tanks. And then as a family, like we had like our
It was a
parents
dog.
were like, like we're not gonna keep this thing. Like it just keeps growing. Um, and that's just like a point, like an inevitable point that you're gonna get, a family might get to with a pet like that. That I think about it. I mean, like have kinds of pets, like it's such an interesting process, and definitely an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
That's
Even
it. We found a good home for our iguana, but which is just like what a relief.
yeah. Yeah. And it's even like I know some people will be like, oh my God, reptiles, really? But to many people, reptiles, really, yes. People get really emotional if they have to let go of one or they lost one. A pet is a pet. Some people get emotional over a goldfish, while others will flush them down a toilet. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with loving another species, no matter what they are, and feeling emotional when they're no longer with you, however they go.
I think loving other species is the greatest gift. Like before this call, I was outside doing my version of Move and Groove. Like Kelsey teaches Move and Groove yoga, so which you would love. You would love her yoga. Oh my God. It gets like tribal, and so I've adopted my own version of it, and I was outside doing it and just like looking at everything in nature. Like a bee would come by and like just like hovering, like, and it's just like this ball that's just like levitating in air, and it just like I was looking at it, I was like, this makes no sense that this thing can fly with these little wings, and it's so big. And I was just like fall in love with the bee, and then I'd like look at see a blue jay come and land, and I'd fall in love with the blue jay, and like everything I was looking at, like the willow tree swaying, and it's just like I think like that, like falling in love with other species opens the door to live in a state of awe and wonder, looking around the whole world.
Yeah, because what life is all about is love. Everything is about love, right? And we need to, like, the only way that we can appreciate love is if we get to taste the other side of it, right? The grief, the sadness, the loss, the isolation, right? Whatever it is that we all go through at one point of our life, there's a reason for it. And in my personal experience, the reason was to find love of myself, love for everything around me, love of friendship, love of connection, love of creation, and love of doing something myself and with my hands, right? There's so many different loves that can also be translated in the one word, passion, right? Passion is love. Passionate love. There.
Absolutely. And that, like, everything as you were speaking, everything you were saying, like the frequency I was feeling that I associate with each and every word, is that level 7, absolute passion, bliss, creation, enlightenment. And yeah, that's exactly why, like in IPEC, we learn that absolute passion is the highest form of consciousness.
Yeah.
Because there's no judgment, and it's just love, it's just pure, and that's why we're here, and that's why creation itself is a result of that energy.
Yeah. And when everyone knows what that feels like, and everyone, as far as I am aware, always feels like they're in search of that. right? So it's kind of like this thought, there's something that we're always chasing, and we're always going to be chasing something. Because, for example, let's talk about the dog that I got for my last year birthday, right? I wanted a dog. I wanted a dog for so long, and I was craving that feeling of the connection that I get with the dog, right? And I get to, it's like the first time you bring that puppy and you hold it in your hands can never ever be replaced. And it can't even come, you can't even compare it to anything else. If you go get another puppy, it would be a different feeling, right? So it's like chasing that feeling of inner whole and utter joy that comes from within. It's like, oh my God, like for me, it's like, oh my God, you're so cute, like pinch your cheeks and your ears, and it's like, oh, you're gonna squeeze you, right? When it comes to um, what else? Like, for example, surfers, right? They are always, that's a perfect example of chasing something. They're always chasing that perfect wave. And I've heard this come from surfers that um, they can, they can catch one or two or a couple in their whole entire life. That it's not each and every wave that they ride gives them that feeling. So they're constantly chasing that feeling, right? So that's kind of like what life is about. Because even if the surfer rides that same exact wave, they're not going to get that same feeling because they need to up it up a little bit, up it up a little bit. It's like a goal in a way, right? A dream in a way. Um, and therefore, they're constantly always chasing it. The same thing with like joy and happiness and love.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like so I've been able to cultivate that state of bliss for myself for pretty consistently um throughout the past month or so. And I've had like one day where I've contracted, and it was just a day I wanted to be angry, and it felt great. And but otherwise I've been in this state of bliss. And there one key to this was chasing the muse. Like all day every day I am after the muse, that surrender. And I've cultivated a practice for myself to tap into that. And another key that unlocked this state of bliss is just embodying the teachings of Ram Dass and loving awareness. I don't know if you were on the coven call when I called in loving awareness, but Ram Dass describes it as loving awareness is the mother and the soul is the child. And so I just have been able to drop in and feel what it feels like to be the mother, like the loving awareness of all of creation. And that elicits a state of bliss, just seeing everything as your child, like all of creation as your child, and you just like love it so much, like everything in existence. Um, so that combination, and the muse, and the muse probably is different for everyone, I'm sure, but for me it's so interwoven with mysticism and how I practice mysticism and just going mad for spirit. And so the move and groove kind of routine, I guess, that I worked out for myself is a combination of Kelsey's teachings and just my own, how I tap into that feeling that I'm always chasing. Like when I am in that flow, I am there, and I tapped into those gifts, the clair gifts of clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and it's facilitating travel into the other worlds. And then I come back into this world at the end of the practice with all the information from the other worlds, and I can integrate it, and working those into my day, like knowing that that's a priority, helps to keep up this state of bliss, so that um, anytime throughout the day where I'm not chasing the muse or it's not available, I can just smile and relax and feel inner peace because I know exactly how to access it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, catching wave after wave on the daily.
Mm-hmm. Right? And it's like, so like the way I hear it is that you are aware of the feeling and emotion that you want to have and create on a daily basis. And by focusing on that and utilizing the tools that you have learned on your path that help you to create that, you make that a priority.
Yeah.
And then you go on with the day.
Exactly. And today it just hit me how important it is for empaths to learn how to, like, I'm able to create that for myself because of my relationship with music. Like, I know music is my safe, sacred container. And when I'm playing music and I put out my yoga mat to just like hold the space, like, hey, I'm not being weird here. This is my practice, and like it deserves the respect that a yoga practice does. And I do work some yoga into it, but I realized like music is my sacred container in which to surrender to the flow of the muse and the mysticism. And I realized just how important it is for empaths to establish those sacred containers where we can tap into our gifts. Like, they're legit. Today, some of what was coming through me felt like legit superpowers. Like, it was wild. Like, yeah, like electricity coming out of my hands. And so I just think it's just so important for empaths to have sacred space to start nurturing and cultivating our gifts and understanding them, and then strengthening them and knowing which is which. Like, the visions are clairvoyance, and the language and auditory information is clairaudience, and the clear feeling, like one of the feeling just transports us into another sentience or another world. That's our clairsentience. And so we just have all these gifts, and they can, like, when we fully embody them and access them, the possibilities for us for self-actualization and reaching our true potential and fulfilling the mission that our respective and collective mission, like why we're all here. Oh, it's just like this is why we're here, to develop these gifts and use them and just straight up become superheroes.
Yeah, it sounds like putting on the armor.
Yes, yo, that's like some of the shit that was coming through today. I was like, all right, okay. I was like riding a stallion and like had a bow and arrow, and yeah.
But that's what it really does sound like. This cat. Cat butt. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
While he situates himself. Like, honestly, I was sitting here at this table for like half an hour, just twiddling, daddling, watching this new show on Netflix. Yeah, I'm addicted to Netflix. And the cat was not here. The moment I turn on Zoom and it says like admit Rachel into the Zoom room, I admitted you into here, and the cat comes here. I'm like, oh my God, really? Yeah.
It's Ramses, like he's royalty, and like what we're doing in here, who knows? Maybe we're tapping into like the ancient pyramids, and he's like, oh, like this.
Well, he does look Egyptian.
He totally does.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I wanted this cat breed, because I love animals and I love different breeds. I find them so like unique and exotic. And with him, like you can see his wavy hair. He's wavy fur. A little bit, right? These big ears. So it was just, I was a teenager. I walked into the pet store. That's when we had pet stores. And there was this beautiful, weird looking furred cat in the cage who was so friendly. He was rubbing up against the cage. I would have bought him if he wasn't like $2,000. Because pet stores, they overprice their animals. And he was kind of like Siamese color in a way, right? So I found out that was the breed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go research it. I'm going to find out about the breed. And I found out where they started, like how the whole breed started in the beginning, which is like in 1970s, I think. They found a whole litter or a litter that had wavy fur like this, basically like a mutant, right? And then they started breeding them, and that's how the cat came about. I'm like, oh my God, I love it. They're so gracious. And then we got this guy, and we got him from a breeder. But unfortunately, he was a little bit sick when we got him, right? He was, even though like breeders, this is where you got to be cautious what breeder you get them from. And I did see the cattery where the cats were and everything, and he looked fine when we got him and everything. But what ended up happening is he had ringworm when we got him. And that transfers onto humans as well, by the way, in case some people are not aware of it. And so he had ringworm, and luckily I was already familiar with that, because back in Russia, there's a lot of stray cats and dogs, and Yana was very familiar with what was possible and how to treat it, even as a child. So he healed fairly quickly, but because he was sick, and he ended up not growing as big as he's supposed to be. Like he typically would be a little bit bigger, because his father was almost twice the size of him. And maybe it was just the cage and he looked like a lion in there, but yeah. I don't even know why we hopped onto this topic with this cat.
He showed up.
Yeah.
He showed up and want to be included.
Yeah, he shows up religiously every single time that I have Zoom sessions, right? Unless I'm in a different room and the door is closed. Yeah. So, what topic did you want to focus on today for the main part?
So I was thinking about this today. Well, I think about it a lot because I'm quarantined with my parents and just trying to relearn how to live in service, and so which, by the way, thank you for your understanding on Thursday when I was helping my dad. It was such an opportunity for me. Like when he asked me to help him,
Mm-hmm.
I immediately had opportunity. Like it was straight level 5 type of thinking, and it was because it teaching and learning have always elicited catabolic energy from him, because he is not comfortable with being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
He's not comfortable with being vulnerable enough or he wasn't comfortable with being vulnerable enough to learn. And his ego as a teacher would sometimes cause him to come across ending, and it made it hard. I saw it as soon as he asked me. I saw this as an opportunity to be the kindest, sweetest, gentlest teacher, because sometimes when he's learning, if he gets frustrated, like his emotional reactions in a learning type of process used to intimidate me, used to make me try to rush, or like it would just throw me off center, and it made trying to teach something, it would bring up level 1 energy in me. like kind of like wanting to flight, but also wanting to be helpful.
Mhm.
So, so this time when it came up, I was like, what an opportunity to be the calm, cool, collected teacher and exude loving awareness and alchemize all of those old patterns, and therefore show that if you show vulnerability, you actually get rewarded with love and kindness and support. And and it was such a beautiful opportunity to practice that and to see like those moments when, you know, he'd be at his computer and like something wouldn't work right away and he'd start getting frustrated, and then like look at me and I'd just be like sitting there smiling, whereas I used to be like frantic, you know, because like that kind of energy from men always intimidated me, always scared me. So now, so this time he would look at me and I would just like so peacefully be like, "Do you want me to try?" And it made it safe for him to like give up his seat instead of being stubborn. And so I was just thinking about this, and I think about this a lot as I'm reading this book, Ram Dass book, Still Here,
Okay.
and it's embracing aging, changing, and dying, and I've just been thinking a lot about how what a disservice. This has actually been a recurring theme in my life. Like when I took elder law, I wrote a paper um, on how we as a culture have we've been so obsessed with youth and Hollywood and staying young. We've just neglected and forgotten and just disempower the elderly and the aging. And I was thinking that like coaches are such an incredible bridge between generations because we safe space for vulnerability. Like vulnerability is the bridge between the gaps and understanding and care. And I've been thinking more and more like as a species are shifting, and I think that what we're all experiencing now, a global pandemic, we're all learning how we all need each other, and and we need to prioritize every stage in life, and like that attitude that our elders are forgotten and have nothing to contribute because they stop working. Like our culture has treated elders as though they are a burden on society, and that breaks my heart. It breaks my heart when I want to be helpful to our elders and they feel apologetic for accepting my help, and there's no way for me to instill within them. I know from the core of my being it is my duty and an honor and a privilege to be of service to them, to the older generation, but there's no way for them to internalize that unless they feel worthy of that respect and reverence for their years and their wisdom. And like no matter who they are and no matter their attitudes, if they've you live a long life, you have stories, you have like and um, and so that's just something I've been thinking about more and more, is just using our gifts of empathy and the tools we have to make the world a safer place for people to ask for help and not feel like a burden. We're going to need that. Like we're all really going to need to come together and all feel worthy of receiving.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where my head's been at this this morning.
Yeah. No, honestly, the way I kind of pictured as you were talking about
11.
I know it. The way I pictured it, as you were talking about the elderly, basically kind of like, okay, you've served your time, you've done your job, now discard you and put you into a shelter. That's what happens to dogs that are not wanted anymore, right? They're put in the shelter, and this is what I see a lot of elderly feeling like they're in a shelter, right? Mind you, what I thought of myself, like when I'm at a certain age, and let's say I can't take care of myself anymore, and I want to live in like in a home, I would retire on a cruise ship. So that way I'm always traveling, always seeing the world, and always have fresh food, and always get to see and meet new people. I kind of heard this story of a woman who retired on a cruise ship because it was much cheaper than living in a home. Much cheaper than living in a home. And I really like I honestly don't even I can't even think of a way to help those people not to feel, by those people I mean elderly people that feel like they're being discarded by society.
Yeah, I mean, I just see it as us having a huge cultural reversal where we bring it back to the ancient way where everyone in the tribe was valued, and we even our living style, like we live communally, so that everyone in the community contributes to caring for the elderly and making sure like they know we value you, and the children are valued, the women are valued, everyone's valued, because we are bring it back rooted in love for the community. And yeah, like I think that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a like we are it's going to take a return to more traditional of of caring caring for people, caring for a family, caring for community. Like our culture is um relatively new in that we separate into these houses like a nuclear family, and that we live separately from the elders. That's new,
Yeah.
and it's proving to not be sustainable. So I picture like when the coven talks about the tribe we're going to build, like the property we're going to build such a queendom that all the younger people on the tribe are going to respect us and care for us and sit around the fire with us and listen to our stories and listen to our wisdom. And because we're starting now, we're planting the seeds now to be the elders of the future tribe. So
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be cared for, and we're going to be valued and respected, and we're going to age how we know of the value in the lives that we've lived, and that we have so much to contribute to the tribe. Like we don't have, like maybe as we age we don't have much to contribute to the system, but we have so much value to contribute to the tribe,
Yeah.
family.
Yeah. Honestly, like that's how humans used to live in tribes. And all the kids, all the young kids, older kids, teenagers, young adults, everyone would go and talk with the elderly because they didn't have access to books, to knowledge, to wisdom, to experiences. So they went and they would talk to the elders to gain all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the strength, all the power, everything that they could possibly from the elders.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. You keep freezing today quite a bit.
I know the internet back here is not that great. It's kind of a bummer. It happens a lot on Zoom.
Yeah. No, like last times it wasn't this I don't want to use the word glitchy, but that's the word that comes to mind, glitchy. Yeah.
Um,
I don't, I don't know if there's a way to increase the I don't know if
it
there's a way to increase like the bandwidth or whatever.
it looks, I don't know.
Yeah. It's okay. We'll
Maybe
figure it out.
maybe if I Yeah, I think so. Like, there's just something going on with the internet today in my house. Like, it's been like this all morning. So, um,
Yeah, I think it's everyone, honestly, because our internet has been a pain this entire weekend. And we've never had an issue with the internet because we get one of the best speeds or whatever it's called. Um, because I'm always on, right? And if we have four of us watching something or playing with something, we've never had an issue. But
yeah.
this weekend, we started to.
Hmm.
Makes me wonder, what are they doing out there to slow down our internet so that way we have
Oh,
to switch over to.
that's like that's why, like, let's get in as many Zooms and that we can before we get shut down by the deep state.
Um,
Uh,
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate
we've
that.
got each other. We've got each other. Like, whatever, we'll always find a way to connect with the tribe and do the work we need to do. Like, they can try and take away our internet, but we're
Yeah.
warriors. We are prepared. Like, I feel fully whatever, something that I a recurring theme I keep writing about, and that I'm like, went back and looked through my journal, and I was like, I write about this a lot. The phrase is, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. I like write that
Oh,
over and over. And then I write about like the different timelines that could possibly occur. And then I write like what training is required. And I'm like, so like my latest is that I want to become proficient in archery and be an archer. And like, that's like the image that keeps coming up during my my morning routine when I'm just like, uh, so it's just like these like whatever's coming, like whatever control tactics that the powers that be want to use. I I feel like our tribe's prepared. Like, we have instincts. We are tapping into ancient wisdom, and sometimes when I'm doing yoga and I'm not guided and I'm just intuitively moving my body will show me exactly what to do, and it just feels ancient. And like, are we like gonna unlock all these different martial arts that like we've just known all along? Um,
downloading the program.
exactly. Like, it's like Neo, just like, I know kung fu. Like, I feel like that's possible. Like, there'll be some
Yeah.
times where I'm like tapping in and I'm just like, I don't know how I know how to do this, but apparently I've done this for lifetimes.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. I mean, that was a whole different tangent on the threat of losing our internet, but I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The human race will always find a way to persevere.
And we love, like, honestly, it's just something that this pause has taught me, and the way that we've been connecting on Zoom, and we just love each other so much, humans. Like, we really do. Like, there is so much love in the universe right now, and I believe in us. Like, I really believe in us. Like, we are not gonna let each other go down. Like, we are not gonna let this ship sink. I
No.
know it. I know it. Like, we love. Am I frozen again?
Yeah, you are. I like the faces you get frozen with.
Oh no.
Oh, it's funny. Um, yeah, as you were talking, see it right there, frozen face again. um, yeah, you kind of like freezing a little bit here and there. As you were talking, it kind of made, it's like they might take something away from us, but what's going to happen is that we will find another way, a better way to do something, to connect, to create.
We're too smart. Like, we're too smart. They, and we because we come from love, our consciousness is expanded, so we have access to way more information. We have
Yeah.
access to something else that I keep writing about that I noticed is another theme I keep writing is that robots can have all the knowledge in the world, but without a heart, they don't have wisdom. So
Yeah.
humans have the unique ability and capacity for wisdom. And all the knowledge in the world won't make someone wise. So because of that, I just have so much faith in us. Like, we've got the feeling, like we've got the heart. So we have the wisdom, we have the codes, we have the ancient codes.
Mm-hmm.
Come from love. Love is all there is.
That's right. And it got me thinking of, it kind of reminded me of my son when he goes to bed. This is when he talks a lot, a lot. And a couple of times he has basically been giving me ideas of what he wants to do when he grows up and the changes that he wants to see in the world. He says, Mommy, there's not going to be any electricity because everything will just work without it. You're not going to need any batteries because everything will just work. I'm like, well, how? He goes, I don't know, but I'll, I can't remember like how he said it, but basically like he'll come up with it. And I'm like, okay, so you can start doing it. I mean, I have no problem.
Crystals. Crystals. He's like, maybe he's a Lemurian and remembers like Lemurian technology.
Maybe, right? And that's like it got me thinking like maybe there's a lot more, because we're not just here and now in this body. We do carry the stories of our past lives, whatever lives we had. And it is brought with us, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. And all of these thoughts and ideas and stuff that we experience on daily basis comes from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
It could be new knowledge that we have tapped into from somebody else's experience, or it could be something that we brought with us, right? Now, kids are a lot more open. They are like kids are a lot more open. They're a lot more sensitive. They just know things, right? And you try to convince them otherwise. Yeah, and they're like, no, I know better.
They trust it. Yeah, they trust it. And like that's the spirit of childhood. And we as adults, like it's silly that we ever else that doesn't invoke that connection to spirit. Like, spirit's the access to all the information.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the codes. All the ancient. Actually, how do you feel about wrapping this up in like 5 minutes? I'm gonna help my mom with the garden today.
Yeah, well, because we said we were gonna try to keep it to an hour, which is
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, she just texted me.
I feel like I'm like mentally preparing for the change for tomorrow, because honestly, like every year so far, my birthday, like I said, it's always been an eventful experience for me. one way or another, right? And I remember a couple of years where, um, exactly a couple, 2 years, right? Because we lost a dog on my 30th birthday, on my 31st, and my 32nd birthday is when I honestly felt like I was reborn, right? Physically felt it. I don't even know how to describe it, and I felt like I was new, and my sled was I don't know why the sled came to mind, but the sled, like I was Santa, was emptied of all the stuff that was not mine, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Gifts that I was carrying that were not mine, that were others that I was caring for them, right? So that was all emptied. Um, so I'm just like, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. And because I'm looking forward to it, because I'm anticipating something is gonna happen, something is going to happen. It's just how things work, right? When we like, okay, something's gonna happen. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And yeah, so I'm curious to find out what's gonna happen. And as long as it's not another loss, I will be okay.
Well, let's call in the law of attraction to work with you. So how do you want to feel tomorrow?
Honestly, I want to feel like I did the other years where I felt reborn and whole and joyful and inspired and motivated and empowered and just I don't know, I can't think of a word, but have no doubt. So basically, like trusting that everything is unfolding as it should, right? In the way that I want it to, in the way that I've been feeling. It's like how would I put it? It's like I know I can feel my future self. And the feeling, it's like living in a certain house and doing things and being out and sharing myself with the world, and that feeling, it's um, I don't even know how to put it in a word. Maybe that's something that I should kind of think about and put that in the word of what that feeling is. But it's like I'm empowered and unapologetically myself without any kind of guilt or shame that I am who I am, right? So I know it's gonna come and I know it's gonna happen. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows?
We're calling it in.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go tomorrow. My 34th birthday.
May you wake up tomorrow feeling reborn and pure and free of doubt, free of shame, released from all of that, and feeling joy, empowered, and authentically you, unapologetically, authentically you.
Yes. Yes, please.
Just love you so much, and I'm so grateful you were born, and I'm so happy you're here in this world with me. Thank you for honoring your soul contract that led you to me. I'm so grateful.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be celebrating your birthday.
I'll be celebrating too. Yeah. I think it's time for me to.
Should I freeze again?
Yeah. You froze.
Every time
I can hear you, but then I see you with a frozen face.
Oh. Okay. Well, all right. I love you so much, and thank you for sharing this space with me the day before your birthday. And it's so much fun being in our mid-30s together.
Yes, it is. It only gets better from here.
It only gets better. How does it get better than this? The universe is gonna show us.
Yeah, it always gets better, right?
Always gets better.
Upping up, upping up.
Because we keep honoring and showing gratitude for the now and showing up in the now. So thank you to this now. We honor it. We know how good this is, and we look forward to more now is where we experience joy and connection and intimacy and each
Yeah.
other. Sisterhood. I love it.
Yes. I love it too.
All right.
Well, you go help your mom in the garden. Enjoy. Hopefully it's not as chilly over there as it is here.
It's hot here. It's like a nice hot, like feels like summer. So
Oh, nice. Well, it's a little chilly here.
I'm gonna send you some New England heat.
Yes, please. I'll take it. Come to me. Okay, well, you have an awesome the rest of your day. And until next week, next week, on Thursday. I'll see you on Thursday. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.